Hey everyone, Christopher Reburn here, and welcome to another podcast adventure. I'm so glad you could join me for this new episode. Thank you so much for listening to the first episode, and I'm just so grateful to have you there listening and supporting this exciting, revamped, rebooted podcast. Those of you that will remember, for about 15 or 16 years, I had conversations with Christopher on the now defunct Blog Talk Radio, which was such an experience because it brought me into the lives and homes and hearts of thousands of you. And I'm so grateful that many of you remember me from then and have come back to enjoy this new podcast adventure with us. I'm a little bit older now, perhaps maybe a little bit more mature, maybe not. You be the judge of that. But certainly have had more experiences in life and in my spirituality and with my gifts and abilities. So I knew rebooting this podcast was the right thing to do, not just for me, but for you as well, because I know so many people are out there trying to learn more about their spirituality. And one of the topics that whenever I ask my Patreon supporters, what new topics would you like me to talk about? I can be guaranteed that spirit guides is always the first or second most requested topic. So I wanted to do that for our second episode, since I know this topic is incredibly popular and many of you are very, very interested in spirit guides. Some of you still struggle to connect with your guides. Some of you don't know how. So we're really going to talk a lot about we're going to talk more about the signs that we receive from our spirit guides. And some of the things that we're going to talk about today can also apply to lost loved ones in heaven, even pets. So as we go through this episode, I think there'll be quite a few moments where you'll think, oh, that might be also my loved one. That might be my mom, dad, sister, brother, son, daughter, anybody. So, but today, really the big focus is on spirit guides. Spirit guides. We meet our spirit guides when we're still on the other side, long before we take our first breath of air, of life into this or on this earthly plane. So our guides work with us. They help us to review some of our past lives before we incarnate into a new life and say, as we're filling out our life chart, who we're going to be, what we're going to be, how we're going to be. And they never fill out that life plan and that chart for us. But sometimes they do nudge us and say, oh my God, are you crazy? Why do you want to put yourself through that again? You already did that 4 lifetimes ago. But they do not fill out our life plan for us. If we are adamant, nope, we're going to do this, then they support that. And they're like, oh, Lord, help us all. But spirit guides are always there to support us. So signs from our spirit guides. First, I want to talk about some physical and some environmental, how do you pronounce that? I can't even get my tongue out like that. Signs. Let's talk about repeating numbers. This comes up frequently in my phone readings and email readings. People will email me and say, okay, Christopher, I keep seeing 111, 444, 777. What does that mean? And many times it has meant nothing. Other times, and these numbers they're starting to outrank the nothing, that 111, 444, 77 means your spirit guides are highlighting that exact moment for a reason. And a lot of times, if we think about it, we know the reason. We connect with what the reason is. So if you keep seeing signs like that, whether it be on the clock, whether it be on the microwave, whether it be on any device that shows numbers, 111, 222, 333, 444, I'm not going to say it's a guide or an angel or a loved one every single time you see those numbers, because that would just be foolish. That would be ludicrous to think that, because we're constantly glancing at the clock. We're constantly glancing at our phone to see what time it is. So if we look at our phone and it happens to be 222, doesn't mean anything spiritual about it. It's a time during the 24-hour daily cycle. But sometimes if you're looking for signs, if you put that out to the universe, give me a sign, then that very well could be a sign for you. I wanted to mention about finding coins, pennies, and dimes that appear in unexpected places. And every coin has a value to it. So sometimes spirit guides and loved ones from heaven will leave these coins to show you your value, to show you that you are still valued and still supported. A lot of you have messaged me, even pictures, and say, Christopher, I just found this dime. Well, why is it here? What is it? What does it mean? A lot of us now in this new age, what a new age it is. A lot of us don't carry cash or use cash. We'll use our bank card, we'll use our other form of plastic or whatever. And so seemingly the people that don't use cash that often or don't use coins that often are finding coins, and they don't have coins in their homes. But yet, here's a coin. That normally, to me, gains more credibility of being a message than seeing 111-222-333, because those coins are physical objects. Also, flickering lights, sudden electrical blips often signal a guide is trying to catch your attention. So what do? The first thing you do is to shut off the phone, shut off everything, and be quiet. Go into a quiet space in your home, turn off all noise, demand that you have some me time, and meditate. Ask your guides to come into your spiritual circle and ask them point blank, do you have any messages? What do I need to know? And we're going to do an exercise on that a little bit later in today's podcast segment. Let's also talk about feathers. Finding feathers, especially white ones, excuse me, is a classic sign of spiritual presence and protection. So if you're constantly finding feathers, especially if you don't have any birds, if you don't have any, these are signs that, again, I find more credibility in that sign as well than I do seeing 111-222-333. Oh my God, it drives me crazy. Every time someone sees those numbers, they think it's a sign. And let's think more practical about it. Talking about signs from your spirit guides, we can talk about temperature drops. A sudden, inexplicable chill in a warm room often means a guide has stepped closer. So if you're meditating and all of a sudden you feel a cold chill, some people think, oh, that means there's a negative presence. Not necessarily at all. When there is a sudden chill in a warm room or an unexplainable temperature drop, again, our guides are constantly doing things to try to provoke our attention, to try to get us to meditate and sit down and be still and be quiet, so that we can listen to any messages. Or there may not be a message. There may just be something that we need to hear to either calm us down, or some of that, everything's going to be all right. And hearing that from our guides and angels certainly means more than hearing it from a friend or loved one, because our guides and angels know us better than anybody alive. True story. Very, very true. Butterflies, dragonflies. These insects appear out of nowhere to remind you of transformation and spiritual alignment. If you're seeing butterflies, if you're seeing dragonflies, there's a reason for that, especially more than normal, especially since a lot of these beautiful creatures are falling into the extinction pattern. I believe that in a year, perhaps not too far from now, seeing a butterfly will be an incredibly rare treat. And with dragonflies as well. Let's say you're out walking and you notice birds are acting strangely. A bird starts lingering near you and you're wondering, well, what is this? What is going on here? Any birds acting strangely, any birds lingering near you or tapping on a window can serve as a direct messenger. Sometimes from your guide, sometimes from a loved one. So these are not things to be dismissed. And I know some people wonder why they don't get any signs from their loved ones or angels or spirit guides, but yet every time they do, they immediately dismiss it or discount it. If that happens enough, that's a sign to the universe that you really aren't serious about getting signs. if you're going to discount and dismiss every credible sign that comes your way. I wanted to also talk about disruptive electronics, devices turning on and off, and changing volume by themselves. This also signals a strong energy shift and could also be another sign from your guides and angels. These are all things to pay attention to with a practical mind, because some of these things, if we think about it, can be thoroughly explained. People automatically jump to the conclusion that this is something spiritual, this is something paranormal, and you just have to think practical for a minute and try to figure out if there is an explanation for what you just experienced. Do you ever have that ringing in your ears, a high-pitched frequencies? This often indicates a download of higher spiritual information where your guides and angels are downloading some very, very important information for you to handle, whether it be an upcoming difficult life lesson, so you'll be prepared with a little bit more strength, as well as information that you could receive when you go out of body at night, when you go into a dream state, when you astral project. Those downloads could be coming more forthright at that time. Smelling a specific perfume, flower, or smoke with no physical source can connect you to your guide. Also can apply to a loved one in heaven. If you smell something familiar cologne, familiar flower, familiar smoke. If you had a loved one that likes smoking cigars, or really bad cigarettes, and you smell that smoke, which I know for many of us is quite unpleasant, but that could also be a sign. Something I call truth bumps. Of course, a lot of people call them chills or goosebumps. I call them truth bumps on your skin. Confirm that a spiritual truth is being spoken. A touch on the shoulder. Feeling a gentle physical brush or warmth means a guide is comforting you. I don't talk too much about chakras. I don't get too involved with that. There's millions of other practitioners that love talking about chakras. I'm not particularly one of them. But if you have a tingling crown chakra, tingling at the top of your head, shows your spiritual connection is actively opening. That means likely a spirit guide or an angel is looking to communicate with you. So again, what do? You quiet down, you go into a meditation, which every time you meditate, it makes you a little bit more spiritually vulnerable to spirit contact, to guide contact, to angel contact. Seeing sparkles, flashes of light, or shadows often notes their presence. And something else that I find really important is vivid and lucid dreams. Our guides frequently deliver very clear, unforgettable messages while your logical mind sleeps. And then you'll wake up in the morning feeling very inspired, very emotional, very conflicted, very confused, because it's hard to digest some of these beautiful experiences that we have out of body. Having a sudden epiphany, a brilliant solution that pops into your head out of nowhere, is often guided thought from our guides and angels. Internal voice prompts, when you hear a calm, loving voice speak a single word or warning, that's often your guides highlighting your path. And let's talk about song lyrics. Hearing that same exact song on the radio multiple times sometimes can deliver a lyrical message. But it would have to be a pretty specific song, because if it's something currently on the charts, number one, number two, number three. You're going to hear that song 10 times an hour. But if it's an older song that doesn't necessarily get as much airplay, and it's a favorite song of yours or a loved one, and you keep hearing it, that's also a pretty good sign that they're sending a message through the lyric, or they're just letting you know, hey, I still love this song. I still love you. If you feel the sensation of being watched, sensing a comforting, loving presence in an empty room means you're not alone. This often is a spirit guide, more than likely. Sometimes an angel, sometimes a loved one, but more than not a spirit guide. It's the same thoughts, the same repetitive thoughts, a positive idea that keeps coming back to you is your spirit guide nudging you to act. Oh, lordy, lordy, sometimes we can be the world's worst procrastinators. And you keep getting that same thought again and again and again. It's your guide nudging you to positively act on something that could better your life. We all have mentors. We all have teachers. Some of them are loved ones who've passed. Some of them are not family members that have passed that we looked up to and still look up to. So when you dream of your mentors, when you see wise figures, teachers, or ancestors in dreams, it represents your guide network. It represents your guides still linking you up to them even in the afterlife. And let's talk about synchronicities and daily life and how that could mean a connection with your spirit guide. Finding the exact answer you need on a random page or social media scroll is divine timing. Reading the perfect book or the perfect post that just connects with you, that could be your guide leading you to that. Perfect timing delays. Missing a flight or a train often can protect you from an unseen problem ahead. Going to work in the morning and starting your car and your battery's dead, or you've got a flat tire, and then you turn on the news later that night, and if you had traveled down that road or that neighborhood or that area at that time, you could have been involved in a 20-car pileup or worse. I know we sometimes get sick of hearing people repeat the same advice, but when three different people tell you the exact same thing, your guides are using them as mouthpieces. So when many friends and family say the same thing to you, as long as it's pleasant, as long as it's non-judgmental or hurtful, it's something that could better you and help you, you should pay attention to them, because it's likely their guides using them to try to get some sense in you. Being out in public, overhearing strangers, a random sentence spoken by a complete stranger nearby can hold the exact answer you seek. Again, the magic of our guides and angels utilizing a complete stranger. It's funny, sometimes we could listen to a complete stranger and we'll pay more attention to that than anyone else. Reasons for that. Animal guides will cross your path intentionally to bring specific totem medicine. If you have any unusual animal encounters, if animals flock to you, if animals love you, they could be giving you healing from your guides and angels just with those beautiful interactions. Let's talk about putting your car keys down somewhere. You know you left them there. You go back to find them. They're not there. When you find personal items relocated to obvious spots, means your guides are playfully shifting your focus, trying to get your focus on something else because you keep thinking about the same thing over and over. It's wasting time. Nothing's happening. So this is your guides stepping in to try to rearrange your focus. If you see a sudden rainbow appearing out of nowhere, but there's no rain, this is meant to be a sign of deep hope and profound blessing. If you love looking up at the clouds like I do, I have to have a team member come and say, you're spending too much, you're wasting time. You've been looking at the clouds for an hour, or the moon, or the stars, or the constellations at night. If you look up to see clouds and you see angels, wings, or hearts in the sky, that is a beautiful visual hello from above. Very likely a family member that passed, a friend, a spirit guide, an angel, a master teacher, an ascended master. If there's a sudden gush of wind on a calm day, that often is meant to blow away stagnant energy from you and for you. If you're always looking at the clock, exactly at 11:11, or your birth time is often a spiritual alignment handshake. I hope you're enjoying this podcast today, friends. Be sure to like and comment and subscribe to this podcast so we can continue bringing you these quality, life-changing segments and episodes to better your spiritual journey and everyday positive living. We are all about positive vibes here on Conversations with Christopher. If you're sensing a sudden peace, a wave of absolute calm during a stressful crisis, this means your guides are holding you. They're holding you, they're helping you, they're aligning with your frequency. When you start feeling a sudden brush of happiness for no reason, especially when it's been a dark night, especially when it's been a difficult time, and you feel this sudden burst of happiness for no reason, this again reflects your guides' high vibrational energy and they're close to you. Deja vu moments, deja vu experiences that we've all had that want to make us pull our hair out of our head. Any strong feelings of deja vu confirm that you are exactly where your guides intended you to be, that you are absolutely on your path, you're on your chart, you're on your life plan, even if you don't feel that at the time. If you feel a sudden, strong instinct to stop what you're doing, if there's an urge to pause, a sudden instinct to stop what you are doing keeps you in divine flow. And we should pay attention to all of these signs. I want to give you an exercise for you to use. This is a little bit of a meditation. But before we begin, please ensure that you're in a safe, quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Phones, well, you might be listening to me from your phone, so I don't know how you can turn that off. Make sure the notifications are turned off at best. Do not listen to this while driving. Okay? Don't listen to this while you're driving. Grab a pen and a notebook. Okay? So if you don't have a pen and a notebook, go ahead and, or a little piece of paper, or a few pieces of paper for that matter, press pause now and go and get a pen and a notebook. You hear me? Get that pen and notebook. Press pause if you have to. And set that pen and the notebook beside you. All right? And let's begin. I want you to close your eyes. Get them eyes closed. And take a deep, clearing breath through your nose. And let it out through your mouth. Feel the weight of your body supported by the seat beneath you. Imagine a beautiful, warm light flowing from the center of the earth, coming up through your feet and anchoring you completely to the present moment. Now mentally state your intention, like, I call upon my guides of the highest truth, love, and compassion. I ask for a circle of sacred protection around me there during this connection. And breathe that safety into your chest. Now, in your mind's eye, see a doorway. Step through it into your personal, sacred sanctuary. This is a place in nature where you feel completely safe, peaceful, and at home. It could be a quiet forest, a warm beach, or a vibrant garden. Look around. Notice the colors. Smell the air. Feel the temperature on your skin. Allow yourself to fully arrive in this beautiful space. In front of you, there is a comfortable place to sit. Take your seat, knowing you are perfectly safe and expected. Now look down the path in front of you. A loving presence is approaching. This is one of your primary spirit guides. As they step into your sanctuary, notice how your energy shifts. Do you feel a wave of warmth? A sense of deep peace? A specific emotion? Trust whatever you feel. Now, they may appear as a person, a being of light, a symbol, or simply a strong feeling of presence. Accept however they choose to show up for you today. They step closer and offer you a gift. Reach out your hands and receive it. It might be an object, a symbol, a color, or a spoken word directly to your heart. Take a moment to look at this gift. You may now ask them one simple question. What do I need to know right now? Listen with your heart, not with your logical mind. Accept the very first impression, word, or feeling that comes to you. Thank your guide for their presence, knowing you can return to this sanctuary whenever you wish. Now slowly bring your awareness back to your physical body. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Take a deep, grounding breath. And when you are ready, open your eyes. Now, without thinking, analyzing, or editing, immediately pick up your pen. Write down everything you saw, everything you felt, everything you heard. And don't let your logical mind tell you that you made it up. Trust your first impressions. Friends, this is Christopher Reburn, and I just want to say thank you so much for listening to today's podcast adventure. I hope that you've enjoyed yourself. I hope that I've mentioned some things that clicked with you, and I hope that you had many aha moments. I appreciate your support of my podcast, and I'm so grateful that you could listen today. Not sure when the next episode for the podcast will be. I don't have a regular podcast or maybe even a consistent podcast because I prefer quality over quantity. So when the universe nudges me, like the other day, they said, it's time to do a new podcast, is when I do a new podcast. If you're listening to this podcast and you feel especially connected with me and the things that I'm talking about, and you would like more routine content from me, then I would suggest you join my Patreon, where I upload videos every month. I do live streams, I answer personal questions from subscribers, and a monthly spiritual psychic development class as well. So lots of things on Patreon if you're loving this podcast. It's also a way to support me if you appreciate this podcast, and I definitely appreciate your time and support. If you'd like to connect with me for a personal and private phone reading or email reading, you can contact me via my website, which is www.thepsychicspirit.com. And I'm also very active on Facebook and Instagram. And all of those links you will find in my bio. So look for that, and you'll be able to connect with me on these other magical sites. Friends, until our paths cross again, and I do hope that will be very, very soon, God bless you, and thank you for being you, and thank you for letting me be me.